Hello everybody, my name is Jemmy, and today I am going to be giving you a brief overview on Seaborn. And today, just a special announcement is that I have a new camera, and hopefully it records my face better. My last one was my webcam on my laptop, and it wasn't as good as this one. This one is like a camera. So yeah, hopefully the quality is better, and my face isn't that gray anymore. So let's begin. So first, let's open Command Prompt, or CMD. And then, if you don't have Seaborn yet, then make sure to pip install Seaborn first, because that is a library we're going to be using today. Once you did that, if you already have it, it will come up requirement already satisfied, but if you don't, then it should be installing packages right now. And once you're done with installing Seaborn, make sure to pip install matplotlib also, because that's also another library we're going to be using. Once you have pip installed both of these, then what we want to do is we want to type in Jupyter Notebook, like so, which should open our Jupyter Notebook into our browser, like this. And since I already prepared my notebook, I will go into my file, but if you don't, then just click New, Python 3 IPY kernel, and then this will create a new notebook for you to use. Now, your notebook shouldn't look too much like mine since I already wrote code in it, but what you want to do first is you want to rename your notebook to something according to this lesson, such as Basic Seaborn Ep.03. Now, once we're done with this, the first thing we're going to be doing is we're going to import our libraries we're going to be using, which is Seaborn as SNS and import matplotlib.pyplot as PLT. These import as will basically shorten down the name of these libraries, so whenever we want to use them, we don't have to type out their whole name. We just need to type out SNS and PLT. After that, make sure to have %sign matplotlib inline. This will basically allow us to show graphs and be able to visualize your data. This code is used to display all of the possible data sets we can be using. Seaborn has already pre-made data sets for us to use, so this will display what there are. Sorry, I forgot to import. Okay, we need to wait until it connects to our notebook really quick, and there we go. So there is a bunch of them that we're gonna that we could use, but I will use the penguins one since it is the one that is the most fun for me and the one that is most usable. So yeah, that's why I'm going to be using the penguins one today. Also, once we did that, we gotta store the penguin dataset inside a variable. So I made a variable called pens, and with the code sns.loadDataset penguins, I am able to restore all of the information into the variable. And now this is what the first 5 rows of the variable looks like. Inside of each row, there's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's 7 columns. The first column is the species. There's 3 species in total: the Delhi, the Shinstrap, and the Gentoo. And the island, I don't know about the island, but it just tells you where the penguins live. And then there is the bill length, the bill depth, the flipper length, and the body mass. The bill length is how long the bill is, or the mouth. And the bill depth is how deep it is, or the deepness of the mouth. And the flipper length is how long the foot are. And the body mass is how heavy the penguin is. And the gender is what, are they either a boy or a girl, or male or female. And in here, we're going to be looking at lmplot. Lmplot is a way to visualize your data. It's a plot, and it looks somewhat like this. So we can see a bunch of blue dots and a line. This line is called the regression line, or the average, and all the dots are resembling the bill length and the bill depth. I forgot to go over this code, but basically what it is it sets the x-axis and then the y-axis to something else, and it sets what data we're going to be using. In this case, we're going to be using our pen dataset or our penguin dataset. However, we can't really tell which one is what, right? So with the command sns.lmplot, x equals bill length, y equals bill length, x equals bill depth, y equals bill length, data equals to pen palette equals cool warm, and hue equals to species, we are able to have more detail in what it is. So here's a legend on the side, and the blue resembles the Delhi, so we can see the Delhi over here. The chin strap is the white, and Gentoo is orange. And you can customize it to look somewhat like this, or make it more detailed. You can also change the color using the command palette to cool and warm, and the hue to species, which makes it differentiate between each species. You can even go further but I will be only showing you that today since there is already a lot of good tutorials on customizing LM plots. Let's move on to the next one, which is comparing grids. This basically will create multiple of these grids, but you might have noticed over here they're all cramped into one grid. But we're gonna divide all three of them into 3 individual grids. So what we're gonna do is we're going to have at the end call, which stands for column, equals to species. This will create 3 grids for each one. As you can see, all of them are divided. There's the deli, the shin strap, and the gen 2. Let's move on to the style. So we're gonna be moving on from LM plot, and now we're gonna be using the count plot. The count plot is a bit different since you only need to set the x coordinate, not the y. And the y coordinate is the count. So let's see what it does. And you can see here, since we set our x coordinates to be species, there's a deli, shin strap, and gen 2. And the count is how much penguins there are. So the deli has 145 around penguins, the shin strap has 60 aroundish, and the gen 2 has around 120 penguins. And that is the count plot. We can also set the background for the count plot, such as the dark grid. The dark grid basically sets the background for us and make it more customizable. So we can see here that there is a grayish, darkish background. We can also see an assortment of backgrounds. So if we were to do shift tab, we can look in here and then we can click plus and then scroll down to here. Now there's a list of commands or styles we can use. Right now I will be using the white one since I will show you something down this code that requires the white one. So if we set it to white, it would look somewhat like the original. And if you don't want these 2 borders right here, then you can do SNS count plot x equals to species, data equals to pen, sns.dspine. This will remove these 2 lines right here. So now those 2 are removed. If you want to remove both of these, what you want to do is left, which is the y-axis, and the bottom is the x-axis. So pretend you only want to remove the y-axis, then you make bottom equals to false, or you don't even have the code, like this. And now the bottom one is not removed. However, if you want to remove both of them, then you can do left equals to true and bottom equals to true. Now all the lines are removed. We can also change the size of our plot. And if I want it to be bigger, then I will make it 15 by 5. And this will make our plot considerably bigger, like so. And if we only want the font to get bigger and not the actual plot, then we can just do font scale equals to 1.2. Now you can see that the plot or the graphs are the same, but just the font has been increased. So we can play around with the settings, but that is it and all I have for you today. I hope you enjoyed this video. See you in the next one. Bye!